as the Great Depression deepened, the human toll really started to pile up. The Great Depression starts around 1929. It's going to last until the World War II starts, really. But during Hoover's presidency until 1932 or so, he kept thinking that this was just going to turn around. And the federal government never took any steps to really support the state governments or to directly aid in the people's well-being. So the human toll really was piling up for about 2 years, through 2.5 years, before the Roosevelt administration is going to try to use the government to help the population. 25% unemployment rate. Farmers are going to be so angry in the Midwest because they're losing their farms due to the inability to pay their mortgages or to pay taxes. They actually started something called the Corn Belt Rebellion, where they would, from time to time, there'd be these angry mobs of farmers that would take over courthouses and try to prevent lawsuits from going through that would lead to their foreclosure on the farms. The sense of shame cuts across class lines. Whether you're a farmer, a blue-collar worker, somebody who lost your money in the stock market, there's a sense of shame that cut across these class lines because people had been taught that their value is based in their productivity. And now they don't have jobs, or at least 25% do. And even if you did keep your job, your hours and wages are cut. So everybody's struggling. Crime soars. Homelessness soared. People are standing in line at soup kitchens and bread lines. Crime went up because of desperation. People are stealing, there's prostitution, there's gambling. All of these crime-related things are increasing. So did the suicide rate. People were desperate and just they were leaving the world. The marriage rate and the birth rate plummet. Marriage rate goes way down. People aren't going to get married. You don't have babies if you don't think you can feed them. The divorce rate goes down, but that's because people couldn't afford lawyers. They just, the husbands often abandoned their families. So abandonment increases. As with all these situations, it's the people that are most disadvantaged, the people that are facing societal inequalities, they're going to be the ones that are always hardest hit. Women are going to lose their jobs because it was the idea that a married man should have precedent because they're the breadwinners. So women are going to lose their work and they're going to get paid less if they do get hired. African Americans are going to be facing segregation in the South, Jim Crow laws in the South. They're still having their voting rights taken away, and they're still facing lynching. And now they're also facing this concept of last hired, first fired. The white men got the jobs first, and if a white man needed a job, the African American often lost their job first. Mexican-born Americans in the United States are competing also with what we're going to call the Okies, white Americans who are moving into the Southwest looking for work. They're competing with the Latino and Hispanic populations down in those areas for that migrant farm work, and rather than allow that competition, and rather than have public money being go to support those populations, oftentimes Mexican-born Americans were just going to be deported. So we can see the human toll of the Great Depression is really piling up as we get closer and closer to the what we're going to call the New Deal.